Well, Texas is now under another state of disaster, this time connected to the threat of parasitic flies that could devastate the cattle industry. Governor Abbott is setting aside more resources and manpower to prevent the new world screwworm from getting too far into Texas. The flies, which carry it, haven't crossed the southern border yet, but the governor says their northward travel is still a threat. He says Texas is ready to eradicate the fly if it has to. The state is already working with the USDA to build a new $750 million facility in South Texas. It will breed sterile flies to disrupt the swarms. Cattle rancher groups are celebrating the announcement. The Texas Southwest Cattle Raisers Association calls it an appropriate position, and its president says the governor is committed to push the fly all the way back to South America.